Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the next video in the mock interview series with UiPath aspirant. For the people who are looking this series for the first time, in this series I am taking mock interview for candidate based on their resume, their experience and their skill set. Please note that this is just a mock interview. It is not for any client, any customer or any of the job opportunities. The format of the mock interview is absolutely simple. The candidate send me the resume. I set up some time. I take the mock interview and all the confidential details such as the name, the company name, the project information, everything remains confidential with me. Even the name which you see in the mock interview is changed. So you do not have to worry about any of the details. Once I receive the interview, I hide the details, we take the interview. At the end, I guide the candidate that what are the topics he needs to improve upon, and I also provide the feedback on the interview so that they can perform well in their live interview. In terms of cost, the cost of the mock interview is absolutely free for you. You don't have to pay me anything. You just have to send me your resume and we can set up a common time and I conduct a mock interview for you. In case your experience match this mock interview, you can go ahead and watch. But in case you are coming from a different experience, you can go back to the playlist. There we have a couple of mock interviews which are already taken. You can watch them, get some insight, and hopefully that should be helpful in your next interview. If you want to appear for such a mock interview, all you have to do is just drop me an email on the email ID which is available in the description. Having said that, let's get started with today's mock interview. Okay, great. So thank you, Ashok, for joining for the mock interview. I'm going to take the mock interview for you. I have your resume in front of me. I would be asking question based on your resume. You have to answer me at the end. I'm going to tell you the answers to the questions you gave me incorrect and the areas you need to improve upon. Okay.
Okay,
And with
okay,
that, let's
okay.
get started by having a quick introduction about yourself.
Hi, I'm Ashok. I've been working as an RPA developer since 2 years in Kasu. My current project is automating the payroll process, where we extract the information from the documents such as the W4s, I9s, W9, DDs, DDs. So, which is all the like employees who are working in a Hollywood film industry. So, our main goal of the automation is to extract the information such as their account number, routing number, their SSN, the general details like first name, last name, contact numbers, is there available for the tax reduction or not, how many hours they worked, how much money they will get,
Hmm.
like their occupation, like for example, their actors, directors, production management, also everything uh, we just extract from these documents. All these documents are mainly from a written document, I mean handwritten, or
Okay.
some of them are printed.
Uh-huh.
So for that we have used a OCR called Hypersense, which is really helpful and reliable for the handwritten documents. Um, so here, with help of UiPath Studio, I mean UiPath is talk to Hypersense through API. After once extraction all that done, then we will store all these information to a database.
Yeah.
So for this handwritten documents, we used Hypersense OCR, which is really reliable for the getting the data from handwritten documents. So here, once the extraction part is done by OCR. Anyway, we know OCR is not 100% accurate, so we do some human intervention. Once all this done, we store all this extraction information in the database. The target application is AS400. So once the data is ready, uh, every single record for each employee will be feed from the database to AS400 application based on their I mean, for the DDs have a separate screen, the W4s has a separate screen, time cards has separate screen, like that. So this is a end-to-end high level, but actual process starts from basically we got all these documents in the PDF format through Outlook
Hmm.
by the builder or client. So once we got, then we will push all these documents into a hypersense OCR application, which is a
Mm.
web application.
Okay.
Once it is successful, once it's successful, it will generate one unique submission ID for
Mhm.
each submission. So
Okay.
in those submission, it could be a number of documents like a 10, 12, 100. There's no proper limit.
Mhm.
So it will generate a submission ID, and submission ID will be added into the database. So
Mhm.
based on the submission ID, UiPath will will done the process. So it's actually queue based. So the submission ID will be added into the queues, and like first in first out.
Okay.
So here in the OCR we do some human intervention like validation,
Mm.
classification,
Mm.
and if required we will enter the data based on the documents. So once
Mm.
it is all the done, once it's successful, it will give the output as a JSON file. So it contains all the information. I mean unnecessary fields also. In usually in the document we will have 20 to 30 fields. So it will give all the information, but out of that we will use a deserialize that JSON file, and we'll get only required fields from that particular JSON output, and we store them into a database.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And from there the actual part is AS400 application. So
Mhm.
AS400 application, it is not a regular desktop application. It is a like terminal sorry, we use terminal activities. So
Mhm.
based on the field setup position, we use that automation,
Mm.
and we log in into the AS400 application, and we will go for a particular, screen, and it will enter the SSN. SSN is nothing but a social security number in the US. So once it is entered, it will give all the information particular employee. If the employee is already exist in the system, it will
Mhm.
just update the details with the current document and the date, the current
Mm.
date.
Mm.
If it is not employee is not exist, it will add from the scratch. And whoever added is right now in the production we have 5 bots. So whoever is added like RPA bot 1, bot 2, bot 3, so it will just update the user and
Mm.
the modified date,
Mm.
and finally send a UOD report to the client. I mean the same email, like how many are passed, how many are failed, is it could be invalid bank account number or SSN, invalid SSN. So like that it will just send a EOD report. So this is the end-to-end process. Here we have used RE framework concept. Do you know RE framework has 4 states, 7 transactions,
Mm.
and
Mm.
8 YAMLs available.
Mhm.
So in the first state, init state, gets transact state, process state, and final one is end
Okay,
process
okay.
state.
I'll try
In
to
the,
stop you, Ashok, here. You deviated from the question, right? I just asked you to
oh,
introduce
sure, sure.
yourself, right? And
Yes,
you,
yes, yeah,
I don't know where we went, right? So I'll try to stop you here. Okay. Have you
yes,
done
yes.
any kind of certification in UiPath?
Yes, I have done a paid one, advanced paid one.
Okay, you are an advanced certified, right? And how many processes, projects have you worked? This is the first project, or you have worked on other projects as well?
I have done that's just a support one I have done. In
Hmm.
those project we done 9 processes,
Hmm.
and this is also it contains almost 8 processes. So
Okay.
right now this is my current project actually.
And how much was your experience?
2 years exact.
Two
I mean
years.
2 years will come. Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, around two
Okay.
years.
And in 2 years, how many processes have you automated?
Altogether, earlier process I have just done support.
Hmm.
I have not been part of from the scratch.
Hmm.
I just done some like just support one. So I was like 5, and this one is like around 6. So around like 10,
10 projects. Okay. Okay. Now, let's talk
10
about the
process.
project, right?
Project is just the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the project which you mentioned, right? So you mentioned that you are connecting with the OCR and the Hypersense integration, right? So is it done with API or how it is done?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, through the API, UiPath Studio will connect to the Hypersense, and
Yeah.
will get the
Yeah.
data from there.
Okay. Now, and your documents are handwritten document and you are using an OCR engine, right? So how do you
Yes.
handle the OCR failure or when the OCR is having a low confidence?
Yeah, that is one of the challenges we have faced during the automation. For that, we have some human intervention. Uh, anyway, we have original documents,
Mhm.
so we do some human intervention for that. And low confidence wise, we first we the actual low sorry Yeah, we have a human intervention, so we did the human intervention for
So
that mainly.
your process is attended or it's an unattended process?
Unattended one.
Then how come you have human intervention in an unattended process?
I mean, like, for first process is a attended one, sorry, unattended one. For during the when it is when OCR is captured at like 80% or 90%, right? So then
Mhm.
we do have a human intervention. So then
Okay, and
we have a
how the
specific
human
team.
interacts there? So, for example, we have two documents, right? And for the
Yes,
first one, the confidence is 30%, right? So the
yes,
process
yes,
is running in the orchestrator. The OCR finds that the confidence is 30%, right? Now what happens next?
yes. Then we have original documents, right? We will
Hmm.
compare with them. We have a
Who will
dedicated
compare?
team.
Who will compare?
As a user manually. We have a team.
Yeah, so and how would the
So
user know, right? That when and where they will compare?
um, we will log in into a hypersense application, and we
Uh-huh.
will compare is the documents I mean is the
Hmm.
details are matched with the original documents or not. If not, we will enter, I mean we will do some data entry. I mean we have some data entry team, so they will take care.
No, but the robot is already working, right, Ashok? So, for example, you have
Yeah,
built
it's
six
okay.
to eight projects, right? So the robot is already working, right? You have 10 transactions in the queue. Transaction number three
Mm.
has got this issue, right? Now, at the same time, how it is going to inform the user that, hey, user, just go and fix this. And meanwhile, what happens to the other processes like transaction number four,
So
five, six, seven, eight, right? How does that work?
yeah, actually for that one, I mean,
You
so
understood the question?
first we done the, yes, yes, I did.
Hmm.
Actually first we done the OCR part.
Hmm.
Then we downloaded from the JSON output the required information. Then we stored into the database, right?
Hmm.
So the whatever the we do manual intervention. I mean, for example, if they enter any wrong data,
Hmm.
so the same will be update here only. So it does not compare again to the back to the documents, because whatever the data has been entered in the OCR, the same will be appear in the database. So the database is like a bridge between AS400 and the hypersense. So the information will be added into the AS400 applications.
But then how is the human coming? That's what I know. I'm not able to understand, right? So you have
During the OCR, during the actually, so here hypersense OCR is not like a document understanding. It doesn't show any
uh-huh.
30% or 40%. It
Okay.
doesn't show anything.
Uh-huh.
So here we have in the hypersense we have three processes, not like a regular OCR. So we will push the documents into a hypersense OCR.
So this
It will
hypersense pushing
capture
the document is not an RPA process.
Yeah, that's not, no, no. That I was just told like from the scratch. So this is not RPA. From after the OCR, I mean what it will give the JSON output, right? From there, the actual UiPath will start. It will extract the required information from the JSON output and it will store into a database.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So
Yes.
basically your first part is not RPA process, right? That's what. Okay.
No,
Now,
no, no.
how to
Just
it
in the first.
generate that that ID, right? You call that it is generating what, submission ID or something,
Unique
right?
ID.
Submission
Yes.
ID, right?
Yes.
How is that submission ID
Yes.
generated now?
Once the once we push the documents to hypersense, right? So
Uh-huh.
it will give the if it is a successful submission, it will give the submission ID. So that will UiPath contact through hypersense through API to fetch that particular submission ID and store them into a database.
Uh-huh.
And based on the database, it will process like for the database, whatever the documents related to that particular submission ID, it will
Hmm.
process.
Okay. Okay. Got it. And which database are we talking here?
Microsoft SQL.
SQL. Okay. So if I have to
Yeah.
connect my UiPath to SQL, right? What do I need?
For connection string, we need server name, user,
Hmm,
and password.
hmm.
That's it.
Okay. So let's say
And
someday,
database name.
yeah,
Database name.
yeah. Someday what happens is that your AS400 application is down, right?
Mm, yes.
What happens to the automation now?
It will break the loop. It will throw the application. I mean,
Hmm.
application exception.
Application exception
It will
for
stop
let's,
the process. Yeah.
it will stop the process, but it's a queue-based process,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
So you have
I
to
mean,
do.
it will retry. It will
Mhm,
retry the number of times.
mhm.
Then it will throw the application exception.
Okay, so I have, let's say, 100 items in the queue. Okay, and let's say the 10th, after when the AS400 is down, right? The first one is only going to break, right? After three retries, AS400 is down. It's going to say application exception and stop the process, right? What happens to the remaining 99 transactions?
It will be just be in the queue. If it is the first one profile, and
Yeah, but
then I mean,
the if the first one failed with application exception, is it not going to try the next one?
yeah, it will try. It
Right.
will try.
So
It will try number of times. How like three times,
no,
my
but that is
maximum.
for the one transaction, right? That is for the first
Yes,
transaction
one
it will.
transaction. Yes, one transaction. Yeah.
So what happens to transaction number two now?
It will reopen the AS4 application. It will go to the system. I mean, if
So
there is any
second one
system
will
exception
also
or
fail,
application.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you are saying that all the
Second,
100 all the 100 will fail now?
it will try number of times. I mean, if there's an application exception happen for the like where you're talking about AS400, right? If it is not working fine, it will try to reopen the. I mean, relaunch the application.
No,
It will
that is
close the
for one
application. It
transaction,
will go
right?
to
See, you are just repeating the same answer, Ashok. So that is for one transaction, right?
uh,
I'm talking about the remaining transaction. So transaction number one failed, retried, again failed. What happens to transaction
yes,
number two?
it will go to the number two and it will try again.
Right. So basically,
Mm,
two and two again will fail. Go to three, three will fail. Go to four, four will fail. So if I have 100, all the hundreds are going to fail.
yes.
Is that correct? If as a developer, right, do you think that implementation is correct? If the application is down, why do you have to even process all the 100 transactions? You got the question, what I'm trying to ask?
Yes, yeah.
So so there is a problem, right? If the application is down, why do you have to try all the 100, 1000 items, right? When you know that application is down, right? Is there any way that I can solve this?
The only way is that we face this kind of situation.
Hmm.
Then that case, we reach out the client and the IT department. They have done some configuration issues and compatibility issues with the UiPath and AS400, and then it started to work. And after that, in few cases, we have done a manual intervention. I mean, manually we just added the in AS400 applications
Okay,
for these
okay,
all the data.
no worries. Let's talk about the AS400 terminal, right? So you are using the terminal activities, right? And one of the major problem with terminal activities is that we have to find out whether we are at the correct screen or not, right? So
Yes,
AS400
yes.
has multiple screens, right? And you are doing a lot of processing. So before I do anything on AS400, I need to make sure that I am on the correct screen. So how in UiPath we are able to know that we are in the correct screen of AS400?
Yeah, for that we have codes for particular AS4 on each screen. For W4 has a code, DDs has a one code, time cards has a one code. After
Hmm,
it is entering, it will check whether that particular, I mean, for DDs, when we enter the code for DD, it will appear a DD screen.
hmm.
So it will, like element exists, it will verify that if, whether the DD screen is available or not, then it started to do the process. So basically, we use the codes.
Okay, and how do you read the codes from that AS400?
We have that's a static code we
Mhm.
just placed into the for each screen.
Uh, okay, okay,
Type
and
into use type,
okay, type into.
no set position. Sorry, it's a
Okay,
terminal
yeah.
activities, right?
So yeah, so for the terminal, you are doing the set position and get positions, right? And those position and the terminals, right? Are you hard coding in those activities, or how does that happen?
Yeah, for these codes we just hard coded because that's a constant
Hmm,
to get to the screens.
hmm. Okay, okay, got it. Now, in this, in your thing of UiPath, right? Which design experience are you currently using, modern or classic?
Okay, it was the classic actually. It was the version is 2022.
Okay. But if I have to ask you, right, can you tell me the difference? Have you used the use application slash browser activity?
Yes, I have.
And then we have an activity called open browser as well,
Mm.
right? What is the difference? Whatever comes to your mind.
Yeah, so in the use application is available in the modern design. The
Mhm,
old one is like the classic one is like we have to use a container. In the which in the container we have used all this open browser. But whereas coming to the use browser, for and in the classic version we have a two applications like a browser has separate one and the desktop application has separate one. We have to use two kind of activities. But whereas coming to the modern, just with a single activity which is a use browser application, there is
mhm.
no need to use any container.
Okay, okay. Got it, right. Now, you mentioned that you are connecting to your application, which was this with the help of APIs, right? Now, UiPath has also got a product which is called UiPath Integration Services. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Right? UiPath Integration Services also is connecting to the application, same like you are doing, right? So, what is the difference you
Mm.
see connecting to application using, I would say, the integration services versus using the traditional HTTP request, right? Is there any difference?
For integration service, I never have a chance to work on integration service, but I have a knowledge on it. So
Yeah. Okay.
integration services is mainly like which is like third party applications or
Hmm,
external applications. So the
mhm,
airport will connect to the third party applications.
hmm.
So it will be available in the if you go to the orchestrator, there will be option called integration services.
Okay.
So there it's connected, but the traditional one like HTTP request. So there you have to give the like you have to pass the API like maybe the hardcode API you have to pass,
Mhm,
authentication code you have to pass,
hmm.
and in the HTTP request we know like methods. So you have to use those methods to get to connect with any API or to get the data or to update the daily data. Where the integration is, it's directly UiPath is providing directly to connecting to the third party applications. I mean, this is a really more it's a more reliable than traditional one, I guess.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Do you understand what is Git?
Mm, yes,
Why do we
but
use the
yes.
Git? Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine.
It
If
is
you have
mainly like
not
a
used it,
source.
it's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. In my project, I have not used. We have used a SharePath folder. So where we everyone has access to the SharePath folder. They will for TTC we have. I mean, sorry, we for RP we have separate SharePath folder. But Git I have idea. So we push our code. If any updates, we can push or pull the code. This is like a version control.
Hmm.
So this is a
Okay.
more reliable. More reliable. Git is also open source.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, tell me one thing, right? Have you ever saved your credentials somewhere? So let's say there is some secure data which you have to store, right? What is the best way you see to store those secure data?
We go for assets. So if because those are credentials, right? If you
Hmm.
use assets, no one can't see. If you use somewhere like Windows Credential Manager, we have.
Hmm.
So if you use there, everyone can able to see because anyway credentials are very sensitive data.
Mhm.
So it's always better to use assets.
Okay, okay. And when you talk about these assets, right? So let's talk a little bit about orchestrator as well, right? So in orchestrator, we have something which is called tenant, and then we also have something which is called folders, right?
Yes.
Why do we need tenants and folder, right? What is the benefit you see of using tenants and folders?
Mainly tenants, it's like it is a segregation to orchestrator from multiple departments.
Hmm,
So here user is like assigned at the tenant level.
hmm,
Comparing to a folder is like we have in the folders we have subdivision. Like if I'm not wrong, there is six subdivisions or maximum of folders.
hmm.
So here the user is assigned at the folder level.
Yeah, okay. So now, UiPath is now as a product, right? They are shifting something to agentic automations.
Yes,
Have you heard of that? So I am not
yes, I have.
expecting you to be an expert on agentic, right? But if I have to just ask you, right?
What is agentic automation? Whatever comes to your mind.
It's like we use AI, ML machine, ML techniques to done the any automation.
Hmm.
Like a agent, I mean, instead of user, UiPath bot works like on agent. I mean, it's like a mimic the actions
That is what RP is
by
doing,
using
right?
the, yeah, mimic that with the AI. For RP is like we have to give the inputs. There is no, I mean, it doesn't have intelligence to get the things, whereas agent have a intelligence to done the works instead of a human.
Okay, but then is it not same as RPA? Because RPA also does not
RP
require human, right?
does not require human, but it doesn't have an intelligence
Okay,
sense.
okay.
But whereas agent AI can
Hmm.
acts like, I mean, it can and I mean, I'm not say like 100% intelligence, but it can predict the situation. It can be like intelligent, so it can be works like agent. I mean, instead of a user.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I heard, but I never worked actually. So I heard, I gone through agent.
Okay, okay. Now, once your project and everything is done, right? Now you have to hand over it to the customer or maybe to the support team, right? What are the kind of documents you create while handing over the project?
Yeah, mainly we have technical support like PDD document. Based on the PDD, we do the SDD document, and in the once we done all the user manual, we will give. In those, we have like a triggering time and triggering all the process names, um, all the workflows, the outputs, all these things. It is available in the user manual,
Mhm.
and we do have a support for them if they required.
Okay, okay, great. So I think I'm done with my set of questions, Ashok, right? So before I come to your feedback, right? Let's do a self-assessment. How do you think? How was your interview?
Yeah, it was okay. Thanks for interview, but I know like I have just a 2 year experience, not yet two. It will come.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning every single day. I'm learning new things. As I'm a junior developer now, I try to like learn a new technologies. I mean, like in the RP also, it was provided earlier. I have experience with the classic one, not the modern one yet. So still, I learned a lot in a modern design, modern experience. And UiPath also provided integrations, agent AI, cloud automation, cloud. So all these document understanding mainly. I was already gone through document understanding. I learned. So still, I'm a junior developer, but I'm trying to learn new things and to get into the good position.
No, no, about this interview, right? If I have to ask you, right,
Yeah.
if you have to rate yourself, right, how much you rate yourself out
Uh,
of 10?
Out of 10, I 6 to 6.5, 6 to 6.5, something like that.
Okay, and why do you cut your 4 marks?
Because I'm during the OCR part, I thought like I didn't give much explanation.
Mhm.
So that's the part. But rest, I hope I
Yeah.
thought like I given. So only OCR part, I got confused. So I
No,
didn't
no,
have
that
much knowledge on this.
I have no feedback on the OCR part. Okay, now let me come to your feedback,
Okay.
right? See, first of all, your experience as a 2 years developer is good. You have done the advanced certification, that is also superb. Uh, you have answered me almost all the questions, technical questions correctly, right? We don't want to know that what is the exact activity and all. That is absolutely fine. You have worked and that shows, right? Now, what is the area
Yeah.
where you need to improve upon, right? You need to stick to the question,
Yes. Yes.
right? Without listening to the question, you are directly jumping to answer that question. And it has happened twice in
Okay.
the interview,
Okay. I
right?
Yeah, I will
So
improve.
I ask you that, tell me about yourself, right? Now, just
Yes.
reverse the role. Ashok is taking an interview and Mukesh is giving the interview, right? You ask me, Mukesh, tell me about yourself. I say that, okay, my name is Mukesh, I'm coming from this, blah, 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 and I have done a project. My project is doing this. I have SQL, I have SSMS, I have ES400, and it gone. right? Yes, we have to explain a
Yes.
project, but nobody asks you to do that, right? Stick to the question.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
sometime the interviewer is interested to know more about you, right? Before going to the technical, means what is your education, which location you are coming from, what is your current company, what is your current experience, right? What kind of projects you have worked on, right? And then they might have a follow-up questions, right? Uh,
Okay.
Directly giving the technical, you open a Pandora box for the interviewer to ask more and more questions, right? You are confident everything is good,
Yes.
right? But why would you like to go into the territory which was not even asked, right? So stick to the question, right? And this might
Sure.
happen with the live interviews as well. And people might get offended that because you are trying to pull the interview to what you want to answer, right? And not answering them, right? So stick to the question, right? Then
Sure, sure.
for your
Absolutely.
queue based thing, right? That should I process all the 100 items in the queue? No. There is something which is called max consecutive system exceptions or max consecutive application exceptions, you can say. That is a new property which is available into the RE framework. It's not new, it's been there for a long now, which means that you have done one project in RE framework, but you are not staying updated to the changes which is happening into the product, right? So you need to redo one project into the new version of RE framework, see what are the changes it has been done. It's the core, so do not skip that. The other thing is, good thing is that you have exploring this
Yes.
other text like AI Center, integration services, document understanding. You also have good enough knowledge. So for a 2 years guy, I think that is enough. But you should not stop there, right? You should start looking into the other areas where UiPath is expanding, specifically like agentic, intelligent automation, IPA, right? AI, right? So you need to build all those small POCs and put them into your resume that you might not have worked, but
Yes.
you have the basic knowledge, or you can say that I have done a capstone project or I have done, let's say, a test project, right? And add all of them to your CV, which brings me back to your CV, which is like a basic CV, right? I think you just updated the details here, and it is like a plain RPA developer CV, and it might get rejected when you apply for the jobs because it do not have the keywords like AI, agentic,
Yes.
document understanding, right? It is plain basic RPA CV. It is good, but when in CV we need to add more details and all the other things whichever you are learning, just put them in the learning section that yes, I have not done a project, but I know all these stuff, right? So that's going to help you. Okay. So that
Sure.
would be my feedback for you. But overall, for a 2 years experience, I think you are doing good. Okay. Thank you so
I'll
much,
stick.
Ashok. And the last feedback, right? Whenever you are giving interviews or connecting to any call, right? Make sure that your internet connection is good, right? And make sure that there is no background noises. That also impacts. Okay?
Okay. Sure.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So with that, thank you, Ashok, for joining. If you have any questions, feel free to write me an email and happy to answer that. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mukesh.
Okay.
Thanks for connecting the interview. Thank you. Thanks for
Thanks, Ashok.
feedback.
Bye.
I'll definitely improve those.